Well, the fact that he's there is a good start, Laura. Both sides would like to see if they could find a way to get a contract extension worked out. There's really no reason for Tua to stay away from the team during OTAs when this team has been fully behind him while they're trying to get a contract worked out. My understanding is it's not particularly close at this point in time, but both sides would like to get this deal done, wrapped up as soon as possible. You would think before the season would begin. The issue would be this. Tua right now is scheduled, as you pointed out, to count just over $23.5 million. We just saw Jared Goff get done last week to an average of about $53 million a year. So now we've begun to see some of the other comparable quarterback deals out there. Are the Dolphins willing to go that high? Is Tua willing to hold out for a little bit more? How does that work out? And how does it work out with his injury history, specifically his history of concussions? Is he willing to go into a season without a new deal, playing with his history? Are the Dolphins taking that into consideration? A lot of questions to answer here for both sides. The fact of the matter is, he's there today. Both sides want to get this worked out. There's still plenty of time to get it worked out, and we'll see if they can get it done at some point this summer.
Yeah, the truth is, Tua is the best quarterback the Dolphins have had since Dan Marino. This is the longest streak in the NFL when it comes to an organization not having a playoff win, 23 years. This is by far the most realistic it is to ending that streak with Tua at quarterback. Shefty's point, there's two angles to this, and it's not an easy decision. Tua, the player, like just the quarterback on the field, you sit there and say, no brainer, pay him. When you look at the player the last two seasons, he's top 5 in everything that matters when it comes to quarterback play. This would be one of the easiest contracts. This would be Joe Burrow. This would be Josh Allen. This would be Patrick Mahomes when it comes to, yeah, let's just get this done. There's two sides to this, though, and Shefty kind of intimated that. If you're the Dolphins, you're sitting there going, injury history. This dates back all the way to college, okay? The ankle, the dislocated hip. He had a finger, the thumb, the broken ribs in the NFL, the concussion that Shefty talks about, but also back and ankle. So there's one side that says, yeah, I mean, what's the number? You name it. And then there's another side that's a very real part of this for the Dolphins, that you can understand them having some form of reservation. And I hate saying that because I love Tua, but that's a reality between both parties.
Okay. A lot to unpack there. Let me say two things. Let me say one main thing off the top. Because if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, don't come at me and say that I'm being a hater, because I'm going to probably say some honest truths here. But I am absolutely a Tua fan. I love Tua. I want Tua to succeed. I love what he does on the field and off the field. I love what he represents. I want to see him succeed. I love Miami. I want to see them succeed as well. I think the league's more fun when they have a competitive Miami. It's a great city, great fan base, great people, just all around a good time. So I want to see Miami and Tua continue onward together, keep building a team, and win some games and be competitive. With that said, he is not Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, or Josh Allen. I don't care what the numbers say. All of those players have done significantly more with less, or when they were given some legit weapons or a great team, pretty much Patrick Mahomes more than any of those guys, they won Super Bowls. They went above and beyond and won the MVP, won Super Bowls, did everything that you're supposed to do with that. That is not Tua's history. That is not what how his story has been told thus far. We know that team, especially that offense, has a ton of weapons. We know the coach is a brilliant, young, offensive-minded coach. Tua has never had to carry a team. He's never really been the true bona fide difference maker on the offense. He is an integral part. I'm not saying that you can just replace him with anyone, but he is not the Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow or Josh Allen, let's use Josh Allen specifically. Josh Allen against the Miami Dolphins last season, that final game, Josh Allen willed the Bills to win that game. I mean, that was all Josh Allen, especially in the final few drives. I mean, Josh Allen turned into Superman. Tua's unable to do that. He's not physically big and strong enough. His arm's not strong enough. He's just not good enough. But there's plenty of great quarterbacks that are not good enough to do what Josh Allen can do, what Joe Burrow can do, what Patrick Mahomes can do. So it doesn't mean that you just throw Tua away in the trash. I'm not saying, Tua's garbage, you can't win with him. But what you can't do is pay him $60 million a year. You can't pay him this insane amount of money. You can't pay him like he is Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. You just can't. You end up exactly like the Dallas Cowboys. And how has that worked out for the Dallas Cowboys? They've absolutely won some games. They've absolutely made the playoffs. And they absolutely have zero chance of winning a Super Bowl. And they have to reconcile with that every single year. We don't know what happened. We know we're better than this. And we just didn't bring our A game today. That's what happens every playoff game when they lose and they go home. And that's what will happen with the Miami Dolphins. And if you pay Tua all this money, you won't be able to continue to build this team. You need weapons because Tua does have his limitations and Tua does get injured. A lot of people are saying, I'm so sick of hearing about his injury history. And they call out Joe Burrow. What about Joe Burrow? Yeah, and Joe Burrow is being called out right now. If Joe Burrow was up for a contract right now, coming off his other last injury, he would absolutely be dinged for that. A lot of people would say, I don't know, how can you pay him all this money? He keeps getting injured. There was the same thing that happened with Lamar Jackson. A lot of people were like, Lamar Jackson keeps getting injured. I don't know. So the fact that people are bringing up the injury history makes sense, no matter what quarterback it is. So, and not to mention, Tua's concussions are a real thing. That will just follow him. I don't know what it will take. I wonder if he plays 5 years without getting a concussion, and then if he gets another concussion, will people be like, okay, he's got to go? Because right now the general consensus is, if he comes out and plays next season and gets a concussion, the general consensus is that people will be like, I don't know if he should play football anymore. He might be forced to retire. Whether that's fair or not, or accurate or not, that is the general conversation that is always lingering. It's the moment he gets another concussion, it's, well, is he going to retire? First off, if he gets a concussion, better believe that whole week, all of these shows, NFL Live, First Take, The Herd, First Things First, all of them, that's the conversation. Does Tua need to retire? That's a problem. It just is. It is a problem when you're a smaller quarterback like this. It's just a reality. It's why these bigger, stronger quarterbacks are more resilient. Doesn't mean that they don't have their issues either. But you just can't go into this. And so Miami Dolphins, and it is concerning when apparently when it says that they're nowhere near the right deal or close to signing a deal. Because to me that means, and I've heard this already before, this has already been reported, Tua wants a lot of money. Tua wants, before the Jared Goff contract was signed, Tua wanted, it was reportedly like $55-60 million a year, which is what Dak wants. It's what all these quarterbacks want. And now, and that was more just kind of in the air. But then when you have a Jared Goff specifically sign that contract, that makes it very real. It's like, well, this is it. This is the baseline. So now Jared Goff, or Tua, wants probably more than that. But he hasn't deserved more than that. Jared Goff has proven to be more resilient. He has proven more the test of time. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to an NFC championship game with a completely different team of cast and characters now. And balled out. He continued to ball. He wasn't a liability. Compare that to what Tua did. If Tua now balled out, if Tua played a playoff game and balled out, right? Maybe like what CJ Stroud did with the Texans, then Tua would have a little bit more of a argument of pay me, I'm proven. If we get to the playoffs, I can compete. But the truth is, he went to the Chiefs and proved to not really be much of anything. And that is a problem. He when it was time for him to kind of do any type of heroics, he didn't. And now compare that to a Josh Allen. Josh Allen did not win the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. But you do not watch that game and blame Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen did everything he could to put the Bills in a position to win that game. He just did. He had some unbelievable throws and unbelievable plays, buying time, throwing the ball 60 yards down the field, and it hit his receivers in the hands. It was the receiver's fault. It wasn't his fault. You don't watch that game and say, oh, if Josh Allen was better, they win that game. Well, if Josh Allen was better, then he would have to be literally the greatest quarterback ever in that moment. You blame the other players or the coaching in that moment, not Josh Allen. But yet you watch the Miami Dolphins versus the Chiefs game and you say, what did Tua do? Did Tua really put that team in a position to win? And the answer is no, unfortunately. Now, if he played against the Steelers, if he played against the Bills, if he played against the Texans or some of these other teams, the Browns, would have even had a better chance of success? Potentially, probably. The Chiefs were a really good defense, but that's just the reality. So when you're up for a contract and you haven't balled out or played well even in the playoffs, that's a tough one. Jalen Hurts got paid because he went to the Super Bowl and balled out. If Jalen Hurts had that great regular season and then lost the first round against, I forget what team they played for the life of me. I don't remember. They had the bye. I think it was against the Giants, right? Because they played the Giants and then the 49ers and then the Super Bowl. But if Jalen Hurts lost to the Giants, he's not getting that contract, even though he had an MVP caliber year. He's still getting probably a healthy contract. But if he now lays an egg against the Giants and gets rocked, no, I don't think so. But he played well in the playoffs and then balled out, had one of the best performances in Super Bowl history. Then you got paid. So Tua, it's unfortunate. I hope that Tua can continue to be successful and succeed and, of course, stay healthy. But based off of what he's doing right now, you can say that offense is potent and that the coaching is great. And that's why all those numbers are great. But it's very similar criticism that Brock Purdy gets. Most people outside of 49ers fans don't credit, right or wrong, they don't credit Brock Purdy for having that offense be as great as it is. They say, well, it's Shanahan. And what about Christian McCaffrey and Debo and Ayuk? It's all of those things. And that's a similar situation that Tua is in right now. And lo and behold, they have very similar offenses. The two coaches, were connected at the hip. So it makes sense. So that's just the issue that Tua runs into. But if I was Tua, I absolutely would not bet on myself and play next year this season without a contract. Take the money because this is what's going to happen. This will be my final point. If he takes the guaranteed money, listen, I don't think Miami's lowballing him and saying we're going to pay you $30 million, right? I don't think they're doing that. I have to imagine it's at least in the 40s, right? Minimum high 40s, low 50s. I have to imagine that. So let's just say that it is. But he wants more. He wants that $55, $60 million a year. And he's going to play next. And if he plays next season without a contract, he has the risk where he gets injured. And now he's without a doubt not going to get that $60 million a year. No question. And in fact, he would then potentially be forced to take some random 1-year deal, show me deal, whatever, for like 20 million, 25 million, whatever it may be. Not a lot of money. Or he could take this guaranteed money, this guaranteed contract, where he will now get paid life-changing generational wealth, because even if it's just 4 years, and I'm making up money here, $40 million a year, right? And he'll most likely, even if he does get injured, I just don't think he's going to be completely cut. Like he'll make that money, at the very least, 100+ million of it. That's enough for you to just live forever and ever and ever and ever, and have your kids and your kids and your kids. It's just life-changing money. The Tagovailoas will never have to worry about money for the end of time. So you just do it. You secure that 100%. Secure it. And if you stay healthy and you ball out like you believe you can do in your heart, you're Tua, you believe I'm worth more than this, then you're going to ball out and you're going to make more money in your next contract. Then you will get, at this point, it's probably be like $70 million a year, but you'll get it. You will get paid. Or, listen, if you truly do ball out, take that money, and then in that second year, or maybe this year, you win a Super Bowl, or the next year you ball out, right? You're really like, dude, these injuries are BS. It's nonsense. I'm amazing. Stop putting this all on the other team, on the other players. It's me. And if you prove that and you ball out, well, in the second year of your contract, you say, we're renegotiating this because look what I just did. I won an MVP. I led us to a Super Bowl. I'm giving us wins. Pay me more money. I took a cheap deal. I'm not doing it. Give me money. Like, you play hardball then. Like, that's what you do. But just secure the money now. Prove it on the field. If he didn't have the injury history, you can make the argument of betting on yourself and playing that year. But I just really hope he does not do that, because that could go tragically wrong. And I don't want to see that. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think Tua is worth like a Jared Goff level contract, $55-60 million a year? Or do you think he's worth a lot less? More like a Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield? And what do you think the Dolphins should do and will do? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.